Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay is preparing to host evacuees from the Pikangikum First Nation, where a nearby forest fire continues to grow.
Red Lake Fire number 39 is listed at over 40,000 hectares and is just 6 kilometers away from the community. The heavy smoke has now prompted a full evacuation. Carmen Wong has details.
For the second time in less than 6 weeks, Thunder Bay is expected to become a host community for Pikangikum First Nation. Starting Wednesday, the city will be prepared to welcome about 200 community members if necessary. A full evacuation was declared for the First Nation Sunday night, with the most vulnerable already transported to Kapuskasing and Hearst. Residents still in Pikangikum are scheduled to be sent to Red Lake as an initial hub and then marshaled to host communities. Thunder Bay's Deputy Fire Chief Greg Hankio says the city is more than happy to lend a hand.
When we get the final word from the province, from the Provincial Emergency Operations Center, that they will be sending people here, as a community, we'll just welcome our guests from Pikangikum and make them as comfortable as possible and take care of whatever needs they may have while they're here, and hopefully they can return to their community as soon as possible.
Despite the significant size of the fire, the primary threat is smoke in the community. Fire Operations Supervisor at the MNR, Kip Miller, says it's stopping crews from doing what they need to do. The 3 large fires in the Red Lake area are among several active blazes in the Northwest. Miller says help from other provinces such as the Northwest Territories and Nova Scotia have been sent to the district. And with rain and lightning in the forecast, Miller says they're hoping Mother Nature will cooperate.
Tuesday into Wednesday, we're anticipating a little bit of precipitation up in the area, and we're hoping that'll allow us to really get in there and get our people on the ground and start working the way we know how to work.
The fire hazard in the northern part of the region is currently listed as extreme, with the rest of the Northwest remaining at high. Carmen Wong, TBT News.
Many are calling it the biggest and best blues festival yet at Marina Park. With another sellout crowd this past weekend, perfect weather, and a musical lineup that's hard to beat, the big question now is, how can next year's festival get any better? Tyler Kelleher reports.
An all-star lineup supplied an unforgettable experience at the 18th Annual Blues Festival. Bryan Adams headlined the legendary cast of talent, while Matt Matson and the Hip Show offered a nod to the late great Gord Downie.
The organizers do such a great job of searching out acts to come here, and it's just absolutely amazing and really worthwhile to come to this every year.
My brother-in-law and sister-in-law came from Southern Ontario for the Blues Festival, so you're attracting people from all across Canada and the United States.
As the sun set and Burton Cummings wrapped up the final day of the festival and crews began tearing down the stage at Marina Park, what was left was a hollow recollection of what organizers call the greatest blues festival to date.
Everything went as well as it possibly could, right down to the weather. Musically, it was definitely just a whole new level all the way through, and we couldn't have asked for more.
Not very often you get big names like Burton Cummings or Bryan Adams in town, so it's a great way to get the city together and bring more people to Thunder Bay.
It doesn't happen very often. In fact, Bryan Adams was the most expensive act to ever grace the Blues Festival stage, begging the question if this year's event was the final installment in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, no, there seems to be this rumor going around because I think people are going, how could they ever top this? But at this point, all systems indicate, all indications are that we should be looking at going ahead with next year.
2019's installment was an over 7,000 ticket sellout, but when it comes to throwing an even better concert series next year, Hurtig says notes were taken and adjustments will always be made. He stresses that the board will strive to exceed expectations year after year. Tyler Kelleher, TBT News.
As the city of Thunder Bay continues to promote physical activity amongst its residents, local officials celebrated the opening of a new bridge for pedestrians and cyclists today. The McIntyre River multi-use bridge on the Confederation College campus is a key part of the city's extended trail system. Corey Nordstrom has more on that story.
A ribbon cutting marked the occasion as the new multi-use bridge on Confederation College campus serves a need among many active members of society. City Engineering Director Kayla Dixon says the entire project included the new bridge and a half-kilometer extension of the pedestrian trail system.
From the end of the bridge all the way up to the corner of Golf Links and Harbor Expressway, we extended a trail through the college property.
The $1.2 million project was funded mostly by the city itself, with $325,000 from the MTO's Municipal Cycling Infrastructure Fund. Mayor Bill Morrow was the provincial cabinet minister who announced that money in the spring of 2016. Now, 3 years later, the pedestrian bridge and adjoining trail through the college property are complete. He says the new active transportation infrastructure is crucial for a city that is looking to promote healthy lifestyles.
Many of us are aware that in northwestern Ontario, some of our health indicators are not the best when it comes to a variety of things, and this movement to try and encourage people to simply be more active and take better care, I think is a good thing.
This establishes one of the gaps, one of the connections that we needed within our trail system. Really, we have a lot of users that travel between the college and the university and then head north and south from there, and this really does provide a safer connection for them now.
Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.
Well, there's a bit of a shakeup in the construction of the east-west tie transmission line. As we first reported in April, the project has switched its start and end points and will begin construction in Thunder Bay, moving east towards Wawa. As a result, there has been a change in the location of one of the work camps along the route. Adam Riley reports.
Initially, there were no changes to the planned locations of work camps along the route of the east-west tie transmission line, even after the project swapped to a west-to-east construction schedule. But now the proposed Terrace Bay work camp is no more. Mayor Jody Davis understands it was a business decision and is optimistic about other economic opportunities from the project, valued at $777 million.
And that's their choice. We still have an agreement with them, and we'll be checking that out with them as time goes on, but they've decided to move the camp elsewhere. We're open for business, and we welcome the opportunity to work with whoever comes by and wants to do business in Terrace Bay.
The camp was set to be constructed on this former gas station site and has now been relocated 82 kilometers east to Marathon. Supercom President Matt Dupuis explained some of the reasoning behind the decision.
They've looked at the logistical plans of how they're going to construct the east-west tie. I mean, Valord as being the general contractor. And original plans were to start more in the east and work to the west, and now it's starting in the west and working the way east. They looked at it and they figured that Marathon would be a more suitable option than Terrace Bay.
Dupuis says there are no other changes planned for any of the other work yards, which will be located in Wawa, White River, and Nipigon. He adds development on the Nipigon area camp has already started, but that is currently in a hold as the project gets its various permits. Marathon Mayor Rick Dumas is happy to see his community get a bigger economic boost from the overall project.
We're excited about the discussions we're having with Valor Power. We do have availability of areas that they can set up real quickly with their men camp. Their man camp is looking at places where you have availability of power, water, and sewer. And we have those pieces of property within our municipality. There's no work needed, there's no permitting needed. There's just basically if they agree that they want to come to Marathon, we will have an opportunity to set up camp pretty well instantly for them.
The east-west tie bulk transmission line is expected to be completed and fully electrified by 2021. Adam Riley, TBT News.
Thunder Bay Police have deployed a K9 unit and a drone to try and locate a city man who's been missing since early yesterday morning. 35-year-old Edward Tremblay, better known as Eddie Tremblay, was last seen on York Street around 2 o'clock Sunday morning. But city police say about an hour later he may have been seen in the 1300 block of Hilldale Road. Tremblay is described as being a male Caucasian, about 5'11" and 230 pounds. A search team was busy combing the Hilldale Road area this afternoon. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Eddie Tremblay is being asked to contact city police. And Ontario Provincial Police are investigating a possible drowning in Kenora. The OPP received a call early this morning asking it to send officers to the Lawrensons Creek area, which runs through the city. Members of their Marine unit attended the scene and recovered a body. No further information is being released until the family of the deceased has been contacted.
A 17-year-old from Nebraska had a scary experience at Quetico Park last week. He was part of a U.S. wilderness survival group touring the border waters near Basswood Lake. The teenager reportedly walked away from his group last Wednesday morning, looking to meet friends in Ontario. The OPP were made aware by American agencies the following day. After spending 3 nights lost in the dense wilderness, the teen flagged down an M&R helicopter commissioned by the OPP on Saturday morning. He was safely located and returned to Minnesota without incident.
Thunder Bay's Economic Development Corporation has announced a new partnership with Sudbury's Centre for Excellence in Mining Innovation. The collaboration aims to drive further innovation in the Northern Ontario mining sector with the help of the federal government. SEMI recently submitted an application for funding from Ottawa's Strategic Innovation Fund. Now, if awarded, the centre plans to use the added resources to increase regional and national mining growth. Local Commission CEO Doug Murray believes their new partnership will help bridge the gap between the centre in Sudbury and major mining projects located all across northwestern Ontario.
If they get chosen, we can be sort of the disseminator of that information to different Thunder Bay and Northwestern Ontario companies about what they're looking for, as opposed to them trying to figure out, well, how do they contact a couple hundred companies in Northwestern Ontario. So it's a matter of us being a focal point for them. They're not aware of all the people and companies in Northwestern Ontario that are looking at projects or potential mines. So it's kind of a conduit for the information to pass backwards and forwards.
Murray says the size or term of the funding is still unclear and there is yet to be a timeline on the application process, but he says it was important for Thunder Bay and the rest of the Northwest to have an opportunity to be involved.
3 Lakehead University professors have been named in the newest cycle of the Canada Research Chairs program. As Ian Kaufman reports, the role means increased recognition and funding for some cutting-edge research underway at the university.
Dr. Alla Resnick was awarded a Tier 1 Canada Research Chair for her research into medical imaging. That chairship lasts for a 7-year term and can carry with it hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in funding. A major focus of her work is on making breast cancer screening safer and more accessible.
Up to 50% of all women, traditional X-ray mammography is not very efficient. So for those patients, X-ray mammography has to be replaced with molecular breast imaging. But molecular breast imaging at the current stage of the technology uses too high radiation dose. So the idea is to make dose reduction in molecular breast imaging.
Dr. Sudeep Rakshit was also renewed for a 7-year chairship for his work in the field of bioenergy. In his lab here at Lakehead's Paleo DNA building, he and his students look for ways to create materials without the use of fossil fuels.
What we are trying to do now is to try to use plastics, produce plastics which will be biodegradable. And the word which we use in technology there is completing the circle. Completing the circle means either you completely compostability, break it down, degrade it using a microorganism, or you break it down to the starting material you had.
Dr. Miriam Ibrahimi was also awarded a Canada Research Chairship focused on her work in nanomaterials. Ian Kaufman, TBT News.
Well, some bad news. Thunder Bay has lost its Commuter Challenge Championship title to the city of Kingston after a friendly competition to see who could get the highest number of participants. Today, Mayor Bill Morrow had to raise Kingston's flag, all while wearing one of that city's shirts. Now, this is the shirt the mayor had to put on after Kingston won the competition with nearly 1,400 participants compared to Thunder Bay's 1,100. Kingston Mayor Brian Patterson had challenged Morrow to see who could convince the most residents to leave their cars at home and bike, walk, bus, or carpool to work during the first week of June. City Sustainability Coordinator Amy Coombs says there were 300 more local participants this year, and the competition helped to boost the numbers we were able to draw locally.
It's just great for all, citizens of the city to really get in the spirit of actively commuting to work and see how easy it is, or even just finding someone to carpool with and how enjoyable it is to have somebody in the car with you when you're going to work.
Kudos to everybody who was involved in getting the word out, because as mentioned, our numbers increased significantly this year over last year when we won. So obviously we got Kingston's attention last year. Good on Kingston, good on Thunder Bay. Both of them did very well.
Thunder Bay came in second in the country for percentage of population participating, and Morrow says he's looking forward to challenging Kingston next year.
Well, if you missed the Blues Festival and would like to see some live music by the lake this summer, the free Sunday concerts at Chippewa Park are back for another year. Yesterday marked the opening of the popular concert series, which features local groups each Sunday afternoon until September 1st. The three-piece band, Given the Chance, opened the 2019 season with their catchy mixture of folk, gospel, and country music.
Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me?
I think it's great. It gives us a chance to show new people, new bands I've just formed. Like our band, we've been playing for 2 years, Given the Chance. And it's nice to see the smile on people's faces and the joy that it brings everyone.
It's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And all they have to do is remember to put the benches out and everybody will fill them up.
Two Bits Duo will headline next Sunday's performances. Live music will also be performed inside the Chippewa Park Pavilion on Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Well, whether it was the concert at Chippewa